Yo,
What up? What up?
woo, we back, baby. What's up, man? What's going on? How's your week?
Week is good, man. Yeah. Week is good. Very busy.
We're doing these later now, so it feels like we've experienced more life. You know what I'm saying? In between pods, I don't know. It's the same amount of time, but
It is,
because it's
but-
later in the week. It just feels different.
So, do you want to keep it on the Wednesdays? I gotta talk to you about that. Actually, we gotta talk about that.
Yeah,
wanna
we gotta
keep
talk about it.
on
Yeah, I don't
Wednesdays
know.
or Tuesdays because the lacrosse season is over. So,
Oh, so we can go back?
This is like part of my son's like experimental phase with like sports.
Okay.
He's played like every sport that I feel we would consider to be like white sports, right? Like hockey and swimming and tennis and now lacrosse.
He run into Duke Gamut. He just get some basketball in there, and then he's the Duke or the Maryland. Who else is good at lacrosse? It's like Duke
I have
and Maryland.
no idea, bro.
And swimming and all that shit.
And recently we went to the Drive Shack, which is, for those of you who don't know, is more like it's like a Top Golf
Yeah.
type place. Really cool, and he's been taking a liking to
the golf?
To the golf. So I'm like, of course you are, bro.
Golf's fun, man. Golf's the most frustrating sport I've ever played in my life.
I can imagine, like for me, I just don't care.
Yeah.
Right, but I can imagine, like, if you cared, that it would be like any sport.
The
man.
ball
It's hard.
doesn't move, so it's fucking infuriating that it's hard to hit. It's hard to. I don't. It just doesn't make sense, bro.
No, it does. It's pretty damn small.
Yeah, no, but like it's pretty small. But the fact that you struggle to hit it
Yeah.
and then hit it straight, it's just stupid, bro. It's so infuriating because I'm used to like playing sports where things actually move. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I remember in the first, like I was clowning golf. Like some people we worked with got me into golf, like way back in the
really?
day. Yeah, and then I remember like clowning them, going like, the balls don't even move. Like that's just for old people. I'm not there yet. And I was in like, man, I was in my early, I might have been 21, 22 at that time. Damn it, bro. I went and bought a set of clubs, and like at Sports Authority when that was still a thing.
Yeah.
Like a Sports Authority branded clubs, and tried it, and it got sucked in, man. Like,
Really?
yeah,
I know a lot of dudes go, "Oh man, it's great. Like it's just a getaway. It's
yeah.
there."
I think
But
that's
I
dudes who
go
just
like
trying to get
that's-
away from their wives because it takes
Yeah.
6 hours to play around a golf. So that's
We just started the podcast instead.
you not wrong. That's so true, bro. Dudes be gone all Saturday playing golf. I'm like, you can't really enjoy that every Saturday.
It's hot.
It's miserable in
Yeah,
Florida.
man. We got
Oh, my
AC
God.
in here. People, come over.
Oh shit, I never thought of it that way before. You right. Oh man.
Oh man, yo, welcome back everybody to the Carbon Footprint Podcast. Ooh man, let's go.
You got two now?
Yeah, I think so.
You forgot which one? I forgot which pot I'm on.
I had to get away double time. He is Juan and I'm Sean, and every week we get together, have a few drinks, talk about things going on in the world, try to focus on things making an impact, whether it be good, bad, or otherwise. Hit him with the drink of the day.
Woo! Yo, Sean came through with the super thotty again, bro. This one's delicious, man. There's so many like liquors in here, bro. I was scared. I was like,
I'm
yo.
still scared.
Yeah. I feel like this is gonna creep up on us, but it's called the Murky Water. It is super delicious, and we got some stuff here that I don't know that we've done on this pod. It might be the first time we've done Midori here, right?
Yep,
And
it
amaretto.
is. Yep.
I think it is. So we took a rocks glass, filled it up with ice, did half a shot of Midori, half a shot of the amaretto, did a full shot of the Empress gin. So if you want to get that murky color in there, you got to do the Empress gin because the purple and the green and the brown sort of gives it that nice little murky hue. And then a lemon wedge, squeeze it in there, use that as a garnish, and then top it off with ginger beer. Lime. So, oof. Lime. Good call.
See?
Lime. Squeezing in the lime. Bro, I've had 50, 11 of these. It's getting... it's like...
No, and
Squeezing lime.
I had done this before, man, with without the Empress gin, and if you do a clear gin, then the drink is green.
Right.
So I had a different name set up initially, but when I bought the Empress gin, then we got that and I believe
So
there
if we
is
use
a
clear
drink,
gin, what are we naming it?
G-Spot.
The G Spot. So because you're gonna get a green drink out of it, so check that out. Use a clear gin, make a G spot. Use the Empress gin, and it's called the Murky Water.
That's right. And I think both of them are already names that are taken for drinks. But goddamn it,
We're
taking it.
Add carbon in front of it.
That's it.
That's all you do. And then you got to top it off with the ginger beer because obviously we've been trying real hard to get a sponsorship from a ginger beer company. Clearly, so you have to do a ginger beer. Yo, Gosling, hit us up. Fever Tree, what's up?
Yeah, we got to start putting the bottle out here on the YouTube.
I refuse until they pay for it. Pay for it.
All right, man. My cup from another week is going out to an Indian entrepreneur from Pune. And no, people, it is not pronounced Poon.
Poon? You sure?
Only in America.
Poon.
These guys, and I'm probably gonna jack up these names, so forgive me. Satyajit Mittal and his childhood friend Krutika Lal. Okay. Anyway, what these guys did, man, they saw an opportunity with shoes for kids. So you know when we both have kids, right? When you you know how they go through shoes like really fast, especially like in the first few years.
Yeah.
They're just going through them, and I can say the same thing even for having teenage kids.
Yeah, every 2-3 months it feels like
it's nuts. I want to say they last probably about a good 6 months, 8 months if you're lucky.
As they start to get older,
yeah, it's nuts. But these guys designed a shoe like for infants that actually grows with them.
Huh?
Yeah. So the way the shoe is designed. The shoe is designed to expand, and it expands at the same almost like rate, and it allows flexibility not only in the length but also in the width.
Wow!
So it's really cool. If you guys go check it out, whether you buy the shoes or not, or whether you're interested, but the sneaker is pretty cool. It's the shoe is called Aretto. So Aretto. The website is Wearetto.com. So Wearetto.com. Anyway, and they show on the site that the shit just expands. And so it's basically made to kind of go through like 3 shoe sizes, which is huge, man. When you're a parent, bro, you buy your kids the shoes and dude, they just go through them so fast because they're growing so quick.
Yep.
And this thing's supposed to like support like the natural growth of a human foot, because apparently if you have shoes that aren't the right size, especially at that age, it actually does something with like the critical or like disrupts like critical muscle development.
Oh wow!
So yeah, man. So I'm giving these guys.
What's the price point on the shoes?
Dude, cheap, bro. $22 to $31.
Wow. So, and I think like going back to them being in India. It's obviously a massive population that is in poverty in India. And so something like this at that price point, and it grows 3 sizes, is going to be huge. Like, I don't know that something like that would have a market here. Oh, and it would. Actually, I shouldn't say that. It would here because it would here with the crowd of like the sustainability crowd and the Tom's crowd and, like that sort of thing. The sort of social, the corporate social, crowd. Right. But, in a country like India too, man, and really around the world where you do have these like massive poverty rates, to be able to get a pair of shoes that grows that's incredible, man. Or where you can go like, hey, $20-$30, it might last you a year.
Yep.
And you get a pair of shoes, and so hopefully that solves a lot of problems, in terms of it gives you. It's funny, man. You see like. It's not funny, but you do see like these videos and things like that of like kids in these countries, and everybody's walking around barefoot and that sort of thing. And I know that's why like companies like Tom started their thing where buy a shoe, give a shoe kind of thing. But for this, man, to create something like that there, I think is massive, man. Like that's
yeah, and they actually they are shipping internationally, so it is available. I think the only thing is like their payment. You either have to have like a car with an India bank. Turn me up a little bit. Car with an Indian bank, Google Pay, Amazon Pay, or WhatsApp Pay.
Oh wow! Okay, so you have to have
So
which most people
here have.
do. Yeah. And you could, or very easy, and it doesn't cost you anything to set up. So that's awesome, man. Shout out to those guys. So,
Yeah, shout out to those
Areto,
guys, man. Yeah, Areto.
Areto, and then what was the name of the website again?
It's a W. So like We Areto.
We
WERETTO.com. And I think if you go on there, there's actually a coupon. It's like ANMOL 2021-23 for 20% off.
For 20% off.
Yeah,
That's
man.
awesome, man. I support those guys. That's really cool, man. That's really,
So
really cool.
and their website, I went to it. They actually like the website is actually really nice. Like you wouldn't expect that for a shoe at this price point.
Okay.
But it's really set up good, and then there's like sort of an illustration of the shoe growing.
So what is it made out of that makes it grow?
I don't know.
It's
that
like,
I didn't look into.
But is it like a stretch nylon?
It is
thing?
like a stretch nylon thing,
Okay.
but it does have the rubber at the bottom, but the rubber actually has slits in it. So as the almost like as the mesh grows, it pushes out.
It sort of like breaks those.
It doesn't really break them, but they're made to be able
Like
to expand.
Like an accordion type thing, maybe.
Kind of like an accordion, but there's actually like slits inside of the rubber around, and so as it expands, it allows that.
I don't know why, but I'm thinking of like a water shoe, almost of that.
You know
Like,
what? Let me show you.
yeah, I want to see what that looks like, man. That's such a cool concept, dude. And it's so practical. Like, sometimes the best inventions are just improving on something that we already have that we use all the time.
Yep. And that when I saw it, I was just like, "Holy shit, man! Like that is freaking genius." So you can see it there.
Okay. Oh,
Pretty
yeah.
pretty
and it has
simple
these
shoe,
ridges
man.
and
But
yeah,
it's
a pretty
just
simple
like
shoe. No, that's a great idea, man. So 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. Wow.
so, and
pretty
I
cool.
want to say it's like at least 3 shoe sizes.
Yeah, I think it looks like you're getting 4.
You might
almost
get
out of
4
there.
in some
you're getting
cases.
3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, in some cases you're gonna get 4. Wow, man, good for them. That's so cool, man. And it's not a bad looking shoe.
No.
Like like the sort of the struggle with some of these things sometimes is like the practicality is like making it to look like something people would want to wear.
Right.
But like, wow, man, that's so cool. Yo. Shout out to those guys.
Yeah, man. All right, what you got?
Is it, man? I am also a fan of changing lives and enriching the lives of children. And so my carbon footprint this week goes out to Angel Drew Footman of Tallahassee. She is a 23-year-old middle school teacher here. And she recently got arrested. She teaches at Griffin Middle School. And
Okay.
she was running a fight club out of the school.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, man. She was running a fight club. But listen, I applaud this because she was teaching kids like a lot about themselves and letting them solve their disputes. Nobody's getting shot. So she would literally she landed on the police radar, first of all, when a school resource officer heard the 6th grade teacher was organizing brawls during school hours. And then and they reported her. What would happen is so according to court records, the fight club had 4 rules. It was 30 seconds, no screaming, no yelling, no phones. And then she would sit there and somebody recorded it, obviously. And she was like refereeing this shit. She'd be like, yo, stop pulling hair. All right, break it up. It's like they got her on
Really?
her voice, at least on video. Some
Yeah,
kid
yeah.
managed to thing. But, bro, she was even like telling kids, like, yo, I got my free period at this time if y'all want to come run it back. And but she building self-esteem one fight at a time, bro. What a great way to just solve a dispute. You don't get some kid that's angry, but yo, y'all gonna keep fucking with each other. All right. So today, during science, we gonna fuck each other, or during phys ed,
Dude, not for nothing, man. Like human nature, like that's part of human nature.
yeah, we
It's to fight.
We're fucking animals, bro.
Yeah.
We're literally animals, man.
So like living in a society like we are here, that we frown upon fighting unless you do it in an organized manner, like a UFC or
You gotta get paid for it.
right, or boxing, right? Yeah. If you're
Yeah.
doing like
If you
the
get it for
backyard
money, it's fine.
Kimbo Slice thing, then you're a thug. But that's part of being human, bro.
Yeah.
So I'm not condoning the fucking fight club thing in school, but right, like
And we love ourselves some a good gladiator
fight. Yep.
type thing. Because to your point, since the beginning of time, humans have been fighting, and there was a time where you get away with just murdering, like disputes are settled, and you just fucking murder somebody. Well, I mean, not that that's what we should be speaking now, but I think it just speaks to sort of our human nature in terms of, like you said, just fighting or being able to like duke some of the stuff out and then move on. But I just thought it was fucking hysterical, dude, that this teacher ran a whole fight club. She was 23. Which is a little crazy because that means you're a newer teacher. So for you to get the balls to run this shit, because usually, you got to get comfortable at your employer for a while.
Yeah.
She got to be new. At 23, you're just graduating from college.
Yeah.
You figure maybe a year, maybe two.
Dude, did they interview her? Like, did you get a motive or like what was her?
No, it's just wanted to run a fight club out of just give these kids, I guess, an outlet.
An outlet.
Yeah. It's crazy, dude. But you know what? I was thinking about this, and it's so funny. The world's so weird, man. My brother sent me this story, I think. And then the same day, a friend of mine who I grew up with, man, a really good friend of mine when we were growing up, Caesar lives in Australia. I think he listens occasionally. So,
okay,
shout out to Caesar.
Yeah, I've heard of that name before.
Yeah. So he reached out to me, and he was telling me about how he was sending me like a meme about WWE.
Yeah.
And just the wild shit during that. You remember that DX era where they were just like,
when
yelling,
they were
suck
like,
it, and doing all kinds. Dude, when we were, and he was like, yo, remember these times? Like, we were just running around doing like wild shit. And I was like, yo, and then we started talking about a security guard at our school. So in middle school, bro, we were basically reenacting like the WWE or WCW, whatever was happening at the time. And we had like a league, like a wrestling league. And we would have like sanctioned matches in like the locker rooms during lunch, but we would sneak away and we would like, close ourselves up in the locker room.
Right,
we would fuck each other up in there. And it would be like you versus you. But then we thought we was like legit wrestlers. So we'd be getting chairs involved. We pedigreeing motherfuckers off benches, like running into locker. Bro, it was concrete floors. We were reckless, bro. We didn't think we could get like hurt, but there was a couple of injuries there, but we was like, oh shit. But he reminded me we had a security guard that was probably in his early 20s. Like at that time, I don't know, like I'm thinking back about it now, it's probably early 20s. He would be sometimes just letting us roll, like watching it and being lookout and shit for us. And I think he low key was like living through us vicariously. Right. And I'm going, as an adult now, dumb. I'm like, what a dumbass. But that is some of the funnest times I've ever had in school, man. Yeah.
And then you remember that guy.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
I know. I remember his name.
Like he was cool.
I remember his name. If I saw him today, I'd be like, bro, thank you, man. Like, I swear, bro. Not only, you know what, though, and I think it was because it was a good balance. I remember moments where he was, you felt like you could count on him, like if you needed him, right? Like he was a school security guard or whatever. And then we went to a middle school where I think we had a couple of security guards. So, just goes to show how often like shit just would pop off or whatever. Yeah. But like you could count on him. He was cool. He would talk to you about like normal shit, whether it was like wrestling or video games or whatever. And then you could count on him to help you out. And then I think then he would like let us do shit like that. And I do remember if it got really out of hand, he'd be like, all right guys, like y'all gotta stop.
Right.
But just I
don't
know,
he was
man.
cool. He was young enough to be relatable.
Yes, and I think. And again, that could have gone bad in so many ways, like when I'm thinking about it. But it was also just like we had so much fun, and I'll never forget those times, man.
No more power drivers.
Yeah,
guys.
No more power. Yeah, literally, bro. Like, no more pedigreeing on the fucking tile floor. Like Billy's forehead is slit open. Like fuck Billy
for the second time this week.
Yo. We had so much fun though, and I want to say somebody from that group is actually a professional wrestler now. Bro.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here, bro.
And I can't think of what his wrestler name is now. His name is Jay, but I'm drawing a blank on what his professional wrestling name is. But he's bounced around from different organizations to there. And I think he was part of like the TNA at some point, and he was on a couple of other ones, and I think he's on the new one now.
EA.
Is the one that Chris Jericho, AEW, I think he's there now. I gotta go get his name and confirm. Hope like for the pod, but anyway, dude, just to say, like I gave this, we were talking about it before. I think I gave him the carbon football because like I feel like these kids, listen, different circumstances. Maybe it was bad, maybe it was good, but it is something that will impact your life either negatively or positively or whatever for the rest of your life.
Dude, they'll like that story for those kids that are actually being involved in
forever
that later on when they're adults, bro. They're gonna be like
62 years old.
Yes, talking about that.
And there were girls fighting in this shit too, by the way. There's girls who were just like, they're gonna be like, yeah, yo, you remember when me and fucking Samantha had that? We had the Fight Club jump off. Like, Dude, it's so funny because like those stories just popped off in that same day, and I was like, wow, man, like I do remember that. I had so much fun those days, man, like doing that in school. And obviously it wasn't like sanctioned, like, hey, go fuck each other up because you guys don't like each other.
Right.
But we did some wild shit, bro.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, when we was kids, right, like wrestling, even though you kind of knew it was fake, you knew that those moves could fuck you up.
Yes, bro.
And everybody was doing them.
Dude,
like the whole figure 4 shit, like you could never get anybody in that. But if you did, that shit hurts.
Bro, people should be dead. I'm pretty sure there's a friend of ours who constantly broke shit, and he already had like some permanent scars and shit like that, like on his head and some other things, not that. But that motherfucker would get really hurt because he would commit to the cause, bro. And he would, and this dude would kill me because he would do the voices and everything. I think I still have this guy on Facebook. He would do the voices and like he would act out the whole shit. He would be like, "You want to fuck with me?" And he would just commit to the whole damn thing, bro. He didn't give a fuck. He would come in, do his whole shit, ripping his shirt. It was so awesome, man.
Ooh, yeah.
Yep. He would do wild shit, bro. And you were like, yo, he committed to the role, man. Let's go. Like, it was just so crazy, man. But that whole shit just reminded me of that, man. But, listen, hopefully none of these kids got seriously injured doing this. Obviously, she faces like a year in prison. Hopefully, she doesn't get prison time. I guess
it's probably probation.
If I'm a parent there, I'm probably pissed. But I'm also assuming that you're not forcing the kids to do it. You're just sort of giving them the option to do it. An unpopular opinion, but sometimes I think a little sanctioned violence is not bad for your self-esteem. You know, like, I'm just saying.
If you win.
If you win. Right? But I think giving you an opportunity to go like, dude, and how much, listen, with all the shit that happens with the shootings and da-da-da-da, like, does this just get your, dude, as a guy, if you've ever been into a fight, after that, you're usually fine, no matter whether you win or lose.
I'm not even mad no more.
You're not revisiting that no more. You're not even mad no more. You kind of get it out of your system, and you're like, all right, bro, cool. And then you just, that's it. It is what it is. You may not be friends after that, but you're not certainly trying to fight anymore after that usually. So, I don't know. No, hopefully nobody got seriously hurt. She gets whatever punishment she gets, and then, these kids can move on with cool stories.
Dude, let me tell you something, man. So, was it today or yesterday? I think it was today. I overhear a conversation between my wife and my son, and this particular son of mine, man, he doesn't like school at all. And I think I talked about this before on this show. So this conversation was about, like, he was like doing an assignment and he didn't like it, and they have phones, so they fucking cheat. You know what I mean? Like, he's just trying to get through the assignment.
Yeah.
And so my wife gets on.
Are they onto the Chat GPT yet for the assignments? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Dude.
Yeah.
But before ChatGPT, there's other shit that they've used.
Yeah, Course Hero and Coursera.
Well, you're right. And there's the ones that even, like, you can take a picture of like a math.
Oh, and it gives you the formula or whatever, everything. And it gives you, yeah. So they kind of get into it because he kind of walks away frustrated, and he was there for like 2 hours messing with this, trying to get like 10 questions right. Doesn't really say much for him, but is this college already paid for?
That's such a bad parent.
Is this the one you getting the money back for? Oh my God.
So anyway, they get into it because she's like, yo, like, put in the work. Yeah. Like, stop trying to fucking cheat. Stop, you know what I'm saying? Just put in the work. And he goes in, and now I think the whole conversation, I think he kind of missed her point. But he said some things that I'm off in the distance listening to. And it's things like, and it was some sort of algebra that he was doing. And he's like, I'm never gonna use this. Like, yeah, I'm frustrated because I don't want to do this. It's boring, and I'm not gonna use this. And then my wife goes, yo, there may be things that you do use it in. And he goes, yeah, but when I get into that job, I'll figure out the stuff that I need to know, and then the rest of it I can ignore.
Yeah,
and he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. And because people act like you can't Google at work. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can
watch a YouTube video.
Or watch a YouTube video. Like, you can. Yeah. I mean, he's not wrong from that perspective. Yeah.
Now, the point she was trying to make to him was essentially like, yo, no matter what you do, just put your best foot forward and put in the effort.
Yeah, it's more the principle of the like. It wasn't about the work. It was about the assignment.
It's
in
more
itself.
about the work ethic.
Yeah, it's right.
Or
exactly.
the lack thereof.
Yeah. Yeah, like presentation of yourself, your family,
Right,
having some sort of pride. Exactly. You said in presentation. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like which are more valuable than learning the
actual
quadratic
whatever
equation or whatever the fuck. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Because if you develop a good work ethic and pride for your work, like that'll carry through no matter what you do.
Yeah.
Right? But then they kept talking, and he goes, yo, everybody in my school is like this. We're all just trying to
Just want to check the box.
Check the box. And I forget, he didn't say this verbatim, but it was essentially like, yeah, you can't fail. Like they don't let you fail.
I mean, and he's not wrong from that perspective.
And that's the other piece that I was going like, yo, is school becoming like is it about money too?
Yeah.
In a way, right?
Yeah.
And it's public school, so it shouldn't be. But we both know that.
But it is.
The schools get money based on like test scores,
grades, and
right,
student enrollment in certain programs.
Correct.
And yeah.
And so I'm going like, man, like, are we doing a disservice to our children by continuing this like, and I don't want to say this level of education, but at least this format of education. And then now with the introduction of AI and things like ChatGPT, right? Like we're creating things that like, okay, and I'm just going to go simple here, right? But like knowing that 2 + 2 = 4, it doesn't matter. Like we have technology that tells us that.
I also think to your point, I think your description there was perfect. Like the format is what's wrong, but also, man, like the content, because to like your son's point, it's, we all know, and I think we've beat this to death, is like school wants you to check a box and they're teaching you how to memorize. And I feel like where the shift should be, and maybe AI forces this, is, man, does it inspire you, or then at least help you do whatever it is that you want to do? Because he may seem lazier in this scenario, right?
Yeah.
But when you find that passion, whatever it is that he's into, he's gonna go down that rabbit hole and spend thousands of hours on YouTube or Google or whatever and learn that thing, whatever that thing is, right? And that thing could be he wants to be a doctor, or that thing could be he wants to be a mechanic. You know, like there's it. I feel like what school tries to do, though, it puts you in, everybody has to learn this stuff. And it's like, okay, there's some basic life skills in there. Like, yeah, you should learn how to read. Yeah, you should learn like some basic arithmetic. But then after that, it's like, it should be trying to help you discover things that you do or don't like after that, right?
Things that you're good at.
Yeah,
just good at. Like naturally good
It doesn't make you inquisitive. It doesn't make you curious. It doesn't like inspire. Like, I think that's the issue I had with school. I was a terrible student. It's like, I never felt like school sort of fed my inquisitiveness or my curiosity. Like, and then when it did, like there was teachers that stood out to me because I'm like, oh man, you challenged me in a way, like, because you made me think about things I hadn't thought of before. You didn't force me to do this stuff. And then it was like I had a real interest in whatever you were talking about. And then I did the work because I'm like, it wasn't work. It was like, no, I really want to learn about this stuff. Like, so it's weird because I feel like you're going to have to start treating, maybe you go through elementary school learning the basics, and then I don't know what the grade is, but at some point middle school thereafter, like, do you start to really just put kids and segment them off according to interest?
Or or natural ability, or whatever it is, right? Or and because we have the new technology, I mean, it's not. I mean, shit, you have calculators forever, right? But if you have technology that can give you the answers quickly, then why aren't we tuning into more human things? Whether it's creativity or critical thinking or anything like that, where like you need to spark that rather than keeping us all in this box. And so again, I listened to this conversation with my wife and my son, and I was quiet throughout because I just wanted to hear. Like I wanted to hear his side. I knew where she was going, and I agree with her 100%.
No, absolutely. I think the
But
work
what-
ethic part, but so
Oh, yeah.
the message, I think he's not receiving it in that sense. It's like just do this work, right? It's not registering to him. It's like, hey, just whatever it is that you do, you should just apply yourself, or you should carry yourself in a certain type of way, or
Right.
you should have a certain pride in your.
And we did revisit it. So at dinner time, I brought it back up, and I was like, "Yo, like, what did you learn from that conversation with your mother? Like, what did you get from it? Not necessarily learn. What did you get from it?" And he goes, "Oh, that I'm lazy." And I go, "Wow, man, you missed the point. She did say you were lazy. That's true, but that wasn't her point. It wasn't what she was trying to
Right.
trying to get across to you." And then we talked about work ethic and all the shit that we
Yeah, because we're all lazy, right? About certain
shit
things
you don't want to do.
Yeah, we're all lazy about.
And
certain things.
it's important to know what you don't like. Just as much as it's important to know what you do like.
And I feel like that's the part that's missing. It's like, why isn't that part of the thing? It's like, hey, find out what you don't like. Find out what you do like. That should be where the focus is, and like figuring either crossing things off or adding things
Or adding
to a
things
list.
to the
Yeah,
list.
that should be where the focus is. And
Yep.
doing that. And I hope that this AI thing really does spark, I don't know, ingenuity and the way we sort of do education, because it's played out, it's antiquated, like it doesn't work anymore.
It's only a matter of time.
No, and oddly enough, man, while you're sitting here talking about that, I'm thinking about the jobs that AI is going to replace. And it's so funny because the jobs that school wants you to sort of fit into, that box that they're trying to make you fit into, are all the jobs that are going to be replaced by AI.
Yeah.
Like, oddly enough, the sort of the artistic or the creative or that stuff is going to be the stuff that AI isn't going to be able to sort of completely replace. It's going to be the mundane, sort of repetitive
Right.
jobs right? That people get. So it's like,
But we talked
they have
about a
to
few
make that
weeks ago,
shift.
right? With the whole McDonald's has the one in Texas, right?
Yep.
Open up that
Fully
fully
automated.
automated, no people, no humans in the building. McDonald's in Texas. I don't know. I don't remember if it's in Austin or.
Yeah, dude, I
Don't
took
quote me
my
on that.
car a few months back. I was talking about this, and it took it in for service.
Mm-hmm.
And when I drove it into the service bay, you drove it onto this, like, it was this machine. It was it wasn't a lift, but it was like this, just I don't know, like a way station almost looking thing,
Okay.
right? And they put it on there, and the machine would scan the whole bottom of the car and the side. And I asked the guy, I'm like, hey, what's that? Because it made me sort of stop at a certain point, and you see all these like lasers on the sides and all that. And he goes like, oh, that actually just checks for like your alignment and your tire tread and all that stuff. And the computer is basically spitting out. It just tells us, oh, it needs an alignment. It needs to be at this. It's at this. Your tire tread is at this. Is at this. Like all this shit that he goes like, so it runs through that machine. So by the time it gets to the mechanic, he already has a slip telling him that it
What to
needs
do.
that, what to do. And then it's up to you to say yay or nay kind of thing. But the machine is giving.
Wow,
And it's
bro.
so funny because I go, oh fuck, man, so can you roll? He goes like, no, it's only calibrated right now for like that brand and then like the different models. But he was like, yeah, so eventually it'll be something that, because I'm like, I've never seen that anywhere before. He goes like, yeah, it'll be something that eventually everyone should have. The thing is, the machine, you have to sort of load programming because you have to tell it what kind of car is on there, because then it has to go
that's
find
fine.
specs and blah blah. But it was so cool,
But
man.
dude, eventually, right? It's the guy going like, oh, there's a Toyota Corolla coming
Yeah.
through. He punches it in. The computer not only diagnoses it, but then the next step is that it just fixes everything.
But it's gonna be smart enough, I think, at some point to know what it is.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
you don't know what it is, and then it'll just fix it.
The machine is just gonna, yeah, because that's the next step is like, so, and it's
Like
set.
alignments, you can probably. I've never done an alignment, but I imagine there's some other machine that you're putting on to align the car. Like you're not turning a fucking wrench, right?
No, well, you are, but
you do?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, I think it varies by car, but you are sort of tightening and loosening the camber because you have to sort of adjust it. But there are like, dependent on the alignment machine, but there's either lasers or an actual thing that it sits on that sort of straighten it, and then you have
Okay.
to tighten it there. So there's bolts. Because
There
like,
is, okay.
yeah, like if you think of like.
So you gotta kind of like loosen it, and then it gets
and
straight,
then
you
move it
tighten
literally and then tighten it where it's supposed to be,
Got
kind
it,
of thing.
got
But
it,
but
okay.
it varies by car, right? Like so how that gets there varies by
Yeah,
car.
yeah.
But you could have manufacturers of actual brands go, oh, we can figure out a way to automate this. To that point, you go, every Toyota has this system, and then you
Right.
can do it, like that. But dude, it's like the AI stuff is gonna take over sort of every facet of our life right now, and I think, yeah, I mean. I don't know. There's like a vindication, I think, from kids who don't like school. Like your kids, when you tell me stories, remind me a lot of like how I thought when I was in school. Like I was a very frustrated student. I did feel like I learned to appreciate it later in life. I certainly think there's certain things that I got out of school that I wish I would have I wish I would have locked in on this because there was something there.
So something of value for you.
Absolutely. But the problem is that I didn't learn that was of value because I hadn't learned other things along the way that I felt like, hey, if I'd have known, like, I'm going to use this for XYZ because I have this interest or because I do this all the time already, then I'm sort of committed to the cause, right? But like at that time, and it's also hard to retain information because all you do is memorize to pass a test. You're not really learning. Those are very different.
Dude, my youngest in 8th grade, he has a civics class, and the previous lesson was concerning like what was it, man? Was it taxes? No, it was like economies, like different types of economies. And things like deficits and surplus and stuff like that.
See, that's good.
It's great, but not in 8th grade. No one cares in 8th grade, bro.
Yeah.
So like, what's cool was it gave us an opportunity because I was like, man, this would have sucked for him to learn this probably in school. But what I did was, I got him up early with me. We went for a walk with the dogs. So we probably like a 2-mile walk, and on a 2-mile walk, he brought his stuff. And then I would like read something, and then we would just talk about it. And I would tell him what I knew, and then anything that I didn't know, there was a definition there, right? And so we had like a 2-mile walk, probably like a 40-minute walk, and just like me giving him examples and things that I knew, right? So when he got back, then he had an understanding. But as I look at it, man, I go like, man, at 13, who cares?
Yeah,
bro?
You don't care. Yeah, no, you're right.
Who cares, bro?
You're right. Yeah, like
he's thinking about getting the next fucking lightsaber. He's into Star Wars and shit, right? Like that's his thing.
Dude, why not teach that? How they manufacture this? What is it like? What do you? I don't know did we talk about the honey story on here? Or did we talk about that off air?
I don't remember.
So, I guess I'll touch it. There's a school here in the downtown area.
Okay.
That it's not in the best area, but one of the
we did talk about that.
I can't remember if we talked about it on the show or not.
Yeah, we did. It was the
honey,
the kids that are jarring and selling the honey,
and you add that practicality
Yep.
to like every day. So like, why not like show here's how like there's something that all kids are interested like Fortnite. Let's throw that out as an example.
Yep.
Like you could go and teach entire lessons on almost every subject around Fortnite. Like if you want to go to creative side, you can touch on that. If you want to go how they monetize it and you want to get into mathematics, you can get into that. If you want to go into sort of like cultural, historic impact, that like you can get into that. Like there's
freaking marketing.
Like there's literally you could tackle Fortnite from every angle. And then your kids would be sucked into it, and it teaches it in a way that they understand.
Yep.
Because all they see right now is, it's a game, and I buy skins, and I do this, and I do that. But it's like, hey, do you know by you buying this skin? Like there's,
right.
This does something to, to stuff. It's funny. I had this conversation with my daughter this week. We were talking about, actually, maybe it was my son, and it was something similar. It was like it was a movie. We were talking about, and it was like I think it was Dungeons and Dragons, and we were talking about how it hadn't made enough money to sort of cover the budget.
Dude, it didn't look that interesting. It's probably good,
and it looked like, and it looked like it was gonna bomb because I feel like it just had that feel from it. It actually looks interesting, but you just have that feel where you're just like, man, this is not gonna do great when you hear the budget of the movie. But anyway, we got down this thing where it's just like, okay, so why? And I'm like, yeah, well, they create it for a certain amount, you have to make back that certain amount, otherwise you can't make any more. And then I'm like, and this applies to TV shows and applies to, it's all fun and games. Like they got to make the art,
right?
But if the art doesn't pay for itself, then you need to have the ability to continue that. And so it was a good conversation because it's like, again, it was something that they were interested in. And you sort of got to relate of like, well, yeah, because someone's making a decision on whether or not they're going to make a part 2 of that, or whether they're going to make another episode or a season or whatever it is. And so getting a chance to like sort of talk about like how do you market that, how do you penetrate pop culture, how do you like the finances behind it, how do you make good decisions and production and all this sort of thing. And it's like That is the shit I feel like they need to sort of try to add into schools.
Yeah, almost like case studies.
Yes, absolutely.
Rather than, you know, rather than.
And
just
you
the
and I
same.
have talked about this before. We had a professor that would do real life scenarios for economics.
Yeah, economics, man.
And that
a
shit's-
subject that I thought that I'm just like, you know, get me in
Get
and out
me-
of this
yep.
and out of this class, and I actually considered changing my major because of this guy.
And he's one of the professors that you'll remember forever.
Yeah.
That, like I go like I can't name 5 of my professors, but he's one of them.
Yeah.
Like I don't
Jack,
even think I can.
Jack
name 5.
Chambliss,
Jack Chambliss. Yeah.
Valencia College.
Great.
Look him up.
Yeah, great professor. from
Yeah,
that
he's
standpoint, man.
awesome. I think he's still there, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
I think
Wow.
so.
I know he
man.
used to do talks and all that stuff all the time, but I haven't
Yep.
seen it pop up in a while. I need to go back and look.
I still have. So he wrote the books that
Yes,
we use
I
in
have 'em too.
class. I have, but mine. I saw yours years ago.
yeah.
Mine looks like a freaking like a graphic novel that he that he literally drew.
Yeah.
And like he took like his own pictures and put them in there. And
No, the
it's-
one I had looked like
it's-
an actual
It
textbook.
looked like a
by
right.
then.
Yes,
but
he
it's
was-
funny.
he
I
was
have
fancy
one.
by then.
I have one from a humanities teacher that looks like what you're talking about.
Oh,
where it looks
really?
like they got it made at Kinko's.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was a which great class.
Yeah.
But but he made the book to it too, and it looks like he stapled that shit together in his garage. Yeah. This is crazy. And
And they charge you $60.
then he
for
charged
that
me
shit.
$60-some. I said, "You motherfucker." It's like- it's just crazy, man. Oh, dude.
Fuck man, we went way off of.
Bro, we had 40 minutes on.
Dude, let's talk about tell me, because I did not see it yet, but that Israel Adesanya
Oh my
fight
God,
this
man.
weekend,
What
man.
a-
I just saw clips.
Yeah, listen, and if you're not an MMA fighter, we'll get to that quick because there's a bigger sort of I think discussion here that's outside of sports. It's so Israel Adesanya facing Anthony Pereira. Is it Anthony Pereira?
Yep.
Yeah, Anthony
Oh,
Pereira.
Alex.
Pereira. Sorry, fuck. Yeah. So Alex Pereira, he is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu MMA fighter. Israel Adesanya and him had fought twice in kickboxing. Pereira beat him twice, knocked him out once cold. Then they fought in the UFC about 6 months ago. Israel was winning that fight, gets knocked out or TKO'd UFC standards in the 5th round. Pretty like I think a minute left, or
Yeah, he would have won that fight.
He would have won that fight, and he lost it towards the end. So Pereira's always been one of those guys where he's just sort of chasing and can't beat. Right, he's like that dragon he can't slay, and he. Obviously build up to the fight. He's talking a lot of shit, usual thing. And he's just like, they kept asking him what the motivation was. And he goes like, I just need to prove to myself that I can beat this guy. Like, I know I can beat him. I just need to beat him. And he's like, I don't give a fuck that he's 3-0 against me. I just need to get him once and I'm going to feel fine. And so great fight. It looks like he's in trouble. Lands just a crazy right hand, hits him twice basically in a row, knocks him out cold. Like, I mean, out. And it looked like he was in trouble. He said he baited him into it. When you watch the replay, it does sort of like...
It looks that way.
It looks that way. It looks like he baits him in. He basically gets him to come to him. He pretends... He says, I played possum. I knew he would come. And then he caught him, and he did. But I think more importantly, man, I've never seen a fighter celebrate a win after a fight like that. And then he grabbed the mic from Joe Rogan, and he's like, I'm going to give it back to you, but I just... And he went on this like sort of tangent about like...
Real quick, before you get into that piece, because I want to go back to the beginning. So like you mentioned the pre-fight thing. Mm-hmm. In pre-fight, I don't know what the question was, but it was something almost like, yo, you lost to this guy 3 times. Like, why would you keep wanting to do this? And he said something that stuck with me, man. And he's like, what if I do what I say I'm going to do? Like, what if? Right? Like, I don't know what's going to happen. But I'm training my ass off. And what if? Right? Like, what if? And I'm willing to take that chance. Right? And I remember seeing that shit before the fight. And I was like, fuck, man. Like, how many of us don't do it? How many of us have sort of faced defeat, and then maybe you take a left turn or a right turn rather than going like, you know what, I'm gonna run that back, and I'm gonna get it the next time, or we give up. How many times? And then this dude has literally every reason to just go, yo, 3 times a charm, man. Like, this guy, fuck
Yeah, fuck him.
Styles make fights.
Styles, yep, they did
Right?
right. Like, Israel may never lose to anyone ever again, and he had never lost to anyone in his weight class.
Correct.
He lost when he moved up, but in his weight class, he never lost to anyone other than his guy.
Yep.
And obviously, this guy just had his number. Like, said, stop
Yeah.
fights. It just could have just been the one guy who was like, I can't beat him.
Right.
Yeah.
So please, so then he takes the mic
So,
from
so
Joe
yeah, so he
Rogan?
takes a mic and he just goes, I wish everyone in their life can feel the joy that I'm feeling right now
Yep.
and feel like this happy and whatever it is that's going to bring you this kind of joy, like just once in your life. And he goes in this whole thing, like just get after it, take that chance, take that risk, because this joy is worth. And dude, you could tell like his face was, first of all, just the emotion that spilled from him after he wins. You know, he does the celebration with the bow and arrow. He fucking
Yeah,
mocks his
yeah.
kid, and on the, you know, he's on some petty shit
Dude.
where he does the thing with the kid, which was hilarious.
Tell that story. You
Oh,
gotta tell
dude!
it. You gotta tell
So
it.
Pereira's kid, one of the when he knocked him out in the Brazilian jiu-jitsu fight in Rio, I think. So in Brazil, the fight was definitely in
I thought
Brazil.
it was.
in Rio.
I thought it was in. What was it? Not one of the kickboxing fights?
No, it was one of the kickboxing fights.
It was,
So,
okay,
so,
okay.
so when Pereira knocks him out, his kid goes into the ring afterwards and does like a mock knockout and throws himself on the ground and pretends to be knocked out.
Yep.
Izzy finds the kid after he knocks his dad
Finds
out.
him in the fucking
Finds
crowd.
him in the crowd, points at him and goes, hey, 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 and then does the same thing and throws himself like to like a fucking 15-year-old.
That's what I'm saying you would do.
Yep. I'm petty as fuck. I sure would. I'd be like,
When I saw that shit, I'm like, Juan would do that shit.
yeah, my petty knows no bounds. I would absolutely do that shit, which is why I loved it so much. When when he did it at the time, I didn't like, huh? I thought he was just sort of celebrating the thing and going like, oh, good
right.
night, blah, blah. And then when he said the story afterwards, I'm like, no, I love him even more. That was just so good because it is absolutely something I would do. I'd be like, hey, where's he at? Where's your mom at, too? I was like, I would have been wilding. I would have been wilding out. But he goes on this whole thing with Joe. He's just telling people to sort of go after it. He wants everybody to experience that once in their life. Does this whole thing, and I just thought it was like you were saying before. It's just like go after it. Like what if like you never,
Right.
dude. We get so caught up in what people may think and what or the fear of the failure is really what holds back a lot of people. And it's just
or
like
judgment.
yeah, or judgment. Like if he goes 4-0 against him, guess what? He's Izzy tomorrow. Like it was just, but now he doesn't care that he's 3-1. He got the one, and so he wanted to get that. Whatever it meant to him, just it took balls to do it. Because I don't care,
Absolutely,
dude,
bro.
to do that. I don't care that you're the best. Whatever. To go and face that again, and the embarrassment that I guess that you could feel and whatever, or even just the self doubt that you could experience by going 4-0 against the same guy, like. Yeah, man, that just says a lot about him just going like, nah, fuck it, I'm going to keep trying. He's like, I will die trying. Like, he's like, I'm going to keep fighting him until I beat him. Like, he didn't give a fuck. He wanted to beat him
Right, and
once.
that was his mindset. And
Yep.
he made a comment on one of the podcasts that he was on. I think it was Flagrant, where he was like, "Yo, I'll be 80 years old, and if I haven't beat you yet, like I'm coming for you."
Yep. He
Like
goes,
that's his personality, and I just love the fact that like in the pre-fight that he was just like, "Yo, but what if I do it?" And then to come back after that and to see that joy, right? That joy that came from, yo, I laid it all out there and I didn't give up, and then this is the reward.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, oh man, I that piece right there, like, I'm a fan of that dude for life. I was already a fan, but for life.
And this is the inspiration, sort of like if you're a kid or whatever, you're looking at, like your boys, like if you're looking at someone to sort of go, you don't have to look up to the fighter. Just look up to the fucking, the guts and just the motivation, the inspiration to just keep sort of going after what it
Right.
is that he wanted. And on a much smaller scale, when he was saying that, I did think about, because it's funny, man, I had this, the first time I ever did, so like I've done open mics, and then the first time I ever done like a show was like a little showcase. It was like this comedy school like graduation type thing, but it was like at the Improv, and I was like really nervous like going into it, right? And I'd done these open mics leading up to it, but this was like the show was like semi-packed, and it's the Improv, so it's like there's a history that's being on that stage with like these greats. And I remember being so nervous, man, like so nervous. And then my foot hit the stage, and I was like just so settled and
Really?
so comfortable. And so yeah, and as people ask me all the time, that feeling has never gone away, even through open mics. If I know I'm doing an open mic that night, I'm nervous all day.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's like I'm nervous. The minute my feet hit the stage, I'm like,
It goes away.
It goes away. I'm like
That's
so comfortable.
great,
Like
bro.
it's so great. And I remember the first time doing that show, and like looking back at it, it was fucking terrible, like the jokes wise. But the crowd reaction was good. Got like good response out of it. But I remember getting that first like good laugh, and in my mind going, "Oh my god, this it was like
That
it was
feeling.
like this high, this feeling where you're
Yeah.
just like, oh fuck, that's what this feels like." Like, and I remember thinking,
I've heard other comedians say that, man.
Yeah.
That's why I'm just like,
oh,
that's-
dude. And I remember thinking, I hope everyone gets to experience whatever their level of happiness is and whatever it is that they like this feeling. Because I'm like, I've never had this feeling in my life. I don't know that I'll ever have it again. But it was like this, oh shit, like this is cool. Like it was just an adrenaline rush with this like out of body experience. And I'm just looking at it going like, I hope everyone gets a chance to experience something like this at least once in whatever it is. Like, I don't give a fuck if you like to just fucking do accounting or IT or whatever, but it's like
Right.
whatever it is that brings you that level of joy, it's like that feeling. So when he said that, it just took me back to that moment, because I remember being in that moment, almost having this like out of body experience, going like, holy fuck, like this is crazy. And just the adrenaline running through your
Yeah,
body,
that's
you're like,
dope.
this is cool. I don't know what this feels like, but this must be like the joy or the happiness. And it just reminded me of that, because it is the nervousness of like, oh fuck, I had people that I knew there, and like, am I gonna bomb? Am I gonna do that? And then it's just
Right.
like, fuck, should I back out? And I thought about backing out, and then like, I don't want to do, like, what if it's not funny? What if people don't laugh? What if and it's just like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna be. And I had already bombed like doing open mics and doing that stuff, and I just went, fuck it, I'd survived those, right? Like, so what's the worst that's gonna
like,
happen?
You're not gonna
Like, I'm not
die.
gonna die doing it. And I think once you get that out of your head, it's like, what's the worst case scenario? It's like you're gonna have a story to tell that you did it, and people are just gonna laugh about it. Like,
Dude, was there any? When you had those thoughts about backing out?
Mhm.
Was there anything in your mind or anybody that you could think of that whether it was somebody like in your head going like, come on pussy, like fucking get your ass up there, or maybe somebody else that you saw like back out and you said, I don't want to be that person? Was there anything like that?
I'll be honest, I think.
You don't have to name names.
No, I won't name names because I'm gonna sound like an asshole. But I think doing the open mics, and then before I went up, I don't know, let's say 15 other people had gone up already, or 10 other people. There was like a lot of people doing
Okay.
sets that night. I think that before getting there, I remember just going to a lot of open mics going, fuck, if you can do it. Like that feeling of like,
Okay,
and it
okay.
wasn't even so much that they were bad. It was just like, fuck, man, if you don't feel bad, like what the fuck do I, like,
Right,
what do I
right.
have to lose? Like, it was just like, all right, if you can do it and you're okay and you're comfortable, and that was pretty terrible. And oddly enough, man, some of those people I've seen just stick with it, and they've gotten better, and they're decent now.
Yeah.
But that night specifically, I remember just watching people going, okay, that wasn't great, but they stuck with it, and
And they
did
were
it,
fine.
and they were fine. And then I think I used that sort of nervousness and sort of the bombing of people before me, and sort of acknowledged it when I got on stage, and I think it sort of helped like ease things off. But dude, I'm telling you, and I can't explain it. I don't know why, and it happens to this day. Literally, the minute my toe hits the fucking staircase to the stage,
Yeah.
I feel the most comfortable I've ever felt in my life.
That's great.
It's so fucking strange, bro. It's like, and it's so funny because I've done that, and I have felt so ill prepared to be on stage sometimes, where like my mind just goes blank, and I'm like, I don't even remember what I wanted to talk about, but I feel okay up here. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, I feel okay. I don't have like the shakes. I don't have the nervousness. I don't have like that dry cotton mouth where I'm just like, oh fuck, like what am I gonna do? Like, and I've never had like a fear of public speaking, but there is that like fear of like, and I think once you do it enough, maybe it just helps to go away. The whole bombing thing isn't fun, right? But
No, it's not. And even if you public speaking and you kind of fuck up, fuck up on whatever your speech was or what have you, because I've done that too, man. Actually, when I've done like public speaking, the point that I get to where I just go like, fuck it, I'm in my element, is after I make the first mistake, and it may not even be something that anybody else notices, but I notice it. But I know I fucked up.
other people don't know.
But they don't know. But as soon as I fuck up, that's when I just go like, okay, that you got the fuck up out of the way.
You got it out of your system.
Let's go.
Dude, it's so funny because I think that having sort of the corporate experience and having spoken in rooms in front of people
Yeah.
definitely helps, because I wasn't afraid of the speaking in front of people. It was like it was like once you get past the, wow, I'm gonna be judged for like thoughts I have and like
Yeah, delivery.
yeah, right. Like the
yeah.
like
you don't
the
even
joke
know me,
writing.
man.
Like you don't
Yeah.
even know me, right? And then it was like, okay, is this joke funny? Or if I'm saying something that's personal, like fuck, I'm talking about this thing that's been brewing in my head. Like, am I fucking weird? Are people gonna think I'm weird because like literally this is how I think? It's like once you get past all that, like it doesn't. Not that it gets easier, but I think you just get more comfortable in that space of like
Yeah.
doing that. But I definitely think the public speaking thing at the corporate level helped, because it was that nervousness was never there. It was more of a fuck, people are gonna think I'm strange, but
Right. And are they gonna laugh?
yeah, right. And are they gonna? Because listen, man, I don't care what anybody says, dude. The hardest art form to me is stand up, because there's only one acceptable response. Like, like if you do music,
Yeah, you right,
dude.
bro.
If you do,
You can put on music and you don't even know what the response
nope,
is.
they
Other
could
than
cry,
sales.
they could laugh,
Yeah.
they could bop to it, they could jump, they could think. You are doing one thing and one thing only when you do stand up, is you want to elicit laughter. And if you don't, that's the only response that's sort of acceptable. Like,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
to me, it's the hardest art form,
It's a
because
failure.
every other art form has a mixture of emotions that you could get. Like, even if you're painting, like people aren't even gonna agree what the painting meant. Right, but it doesn't make it right or wrong. It'll still elicit a response, or it might make someone happy or sad or whatever. Like if you're doing music, if you're doing poetry, if you're doing whatever, I'm like, stand up. You literally, there's only one acceptable response, and it's laughter. And if it's not laughter, it's a fucking failure. Like it's to me, it's the hardest art form, like bar none, because it's also the most vulnerable. Like it's like to go up there, unless you're Anthony Jeselnik, right? He does sort of like these one-liner jokes, like he isn't as personal. But like when you go up there and you think about like. To me, like you think of like a Chappelle, or you think about like the Pryors of the world,
George Carlin.
to Carlin,
Yeah.
who's like super personal and
Right,
tells you about
right.
the shit. Like to me, like to be that vulnerable in front of that many people and do it all the time like that, like, and you're going, I'm gonna give you the weirdest shit that's bopping around in my head, and I gotta make you laugh. Like to me, that's just so damn hard, man. But
No, man.
Yeah.
It's funny when you were talking about backing out. It just reminded me, and this is not related to comedy or anything else, but it's when I was working at Disney. I was a late teenager, so say like 19. I had joined the Marine Corps. Just before I joined, or actually I was in a delayed entry program, so I had already joined. There was a guy that I worked with, and we worked at this like foods place that served like, I don't know, fucking hot dogs and French fries or some shit, right? He left to the Army before I left.
okay,
About a month later, he's back. And when I saw him, just like, dude, what happened, man? I thought you went to the Army. Like, did you, what went on? And he goes, man, they over there yelling at me and stuff, man. Like, man, fuck them guys, man. You know what, man? I wasn't having it. I wasn't having it. So, I remember asking him like, oh, so you quit? And then he was like, yeah, man, I'm not doing that shit, bro. Having them guys in my face, man, fuck that. And in my head, I remember just going like, so you came back here to sell hot dogs? But I didn't say that.
right, yeah. But in your head, yeah.
But in my head-
you're going like, this was a better option.
Yeah, right. This was the better option for you. So, I don't know. Maybe 2 months later, I go into the boot camp, and so he was in the
Oh,
Army.
this is pre.
This is pre.
Oh, okay.
So now I'm in boot camp, and I'm having those moments of where I'm like, "Fuck this, man! Like this sucks."
Did you think about quitting?
I thought about it, but I never considered
But like,
it.
okay, so you didn't seriously consider like.
Correct.
Okay,
No.
okay.
The thoughts would go through your head, but I never considered it. But I think a big factor of that was because of that guy. Now, I was never a quitter in anything. Even when like I played football one year in high school, right, where I didn't like it, but I refused to quit. I was just like, I'm just gonna finish the season, and I just won't do
you're
it
not going
again
back.
next year, right? And so this was the same thing for me. I think personally there was like, yo, you're already here. There's no way out. But I remember thinking about that guy and almost using him as motivation to go, what are you gonna do, bro? You gonna go back and sell hot dogs?
Yeah, that'll do it,
You know what I
man.
mean? And dude, there was times, man. There was one time, man, that I had to go on like light duty because I had hurt my foot. So I was out for like 6 days. Out being like I wasn't doing a lot of the physical stuff for like 6 days. The 6 days put me behind, bro. And so we went for this run, and the rest of the group was like they were doing these runs basically where we would just do like regular running, and then the drill instructor would just take off, and you had to keep up with him. And since those 6 days like messed me up, so I dropped out. I dropped out of the formation, but kept running.
Okay.
So when you do that, there'll be one drill instructor that hangs back and he runs with you. And this little Mexican dude, he drops out, and we're running. So I'm just like, I'm not gonna quit, and I'm not gonna walk. I'm gonna keep running. I can't keep up with them guys right now, but I'm just gonna keep running. And dude, the whole time he's chirping in my ear. He's like, Verona, just quit. You can go back home. You're not cut out for this. You don't want to be in the Marines.
Oh.
And he's like, you can go home with your girl, go chill, go smoke weed, go do this. And I remember at one point, like, he got me so fired up, right? I take off, right? To go try to catch the fucking platoon. And so I leave him for literally like 2 seconds, and then he catches me real quick and he goes, you think you're fast?
Was that demoralizing?
But you know, like, you have those moments when things are sort of like hard or things are scary and whatever.
Yeah.
And for me in that moment was that guy. Visualizing that guy coming back, and that being me going back, and people going, yo, what happened? I thought you went to the Marines. And then me going like, man, because I remember going like, what are you gonna say, bro? Because it doesn't really matter what you say, because the answer is I couldn't handle it.
I couldn't handle it. Yeah. Dude, it's funny because I've asked you, we've had that conversation before about the military, and I think my response has been similar to that, where I'm like, I couldn't do it. I have too, like, I'm too petty, I'm too smart of a mouth, too whatever. But you've always said, one of the things that you said to me was like, yeah, but everybody gets punished for like your sort of shortcomings. So it wasn't just me. Like, I could handle it if I was like, yeah, fuck that, and they just punished me for it. And where I would have sort of stuck with it was the fact that it impacted everyone else.
Yep.
Like, that would have been
everybody's
enough
giving
motivation.
you the side eye.
Yeah, and that would be enough motivation for me, because I'm like, oh fuck, I don't want to be responsible. Like, if it was just, I'm willing to take the heat for myself.
Right.
I'm not willing for other people to sort of have the consequences for my actions. So whenever you told me, I'm like, fuck, I would have had to suck it up, because I don't think I have it in me either.
It's a great concept, bro.
Yeah, it is, because they're gonna get you from like every angle. It's like, oh, you won't do it for you? Like,
Right.
well, these guys
So you're
are
gonna
hate
fuck,
you
yeah,
now.
they're right. You're gonna fuck everybody else.
And that would have been enough for me, where I would have been like, fuck, I'm gonna do it for them. I don't even know these guys. Billy from Toledo, I ain't even gonna know in 6 months. But I'm about to do this shit here for him. Yeah, man. Because it would have been embarrassing, like you said, to just go back and be like, man, I never did. I could see that, man. I could see that being a thing where you're just like, I can't fucking... Especially because in that moment, you know, like, you go, man, was I super judgmental by going, you're gonna come back and sell hot dogs? And I think had you not had that thought, it wouldn't have impacted you as much.
Probably not, bro.
But the fact that you just went, and now you're going, fuck, I'm gonna go back and sell hot dogs.
Yeah, because I'm going like, bro, me and you, like, in my head, I'm going, bro, we're back here, fucking with a steamer cooking hot dogs and dumping fries into a fryer, and we got a funky costume on, and I'm like, you chose this over that?
You know, not for nothing though. Unless you want to make the military sort of like a long-term career, or you have sort of a financial goal by the time you get out of it, I could definitely see the thought process of, I could go make the same amount of money and not deal with this, like slinging hot dogs.
Yes.
More hours for sure, but it's less backbreaking. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yes and no, man, because it's not like your entire career in the military is not boot camp. Boot camp is
Sure.
supposed to be fucking hard,
Yeah.
right? Because you're trying to weed
But I think
out.
it's hard to see past that.
You're trying to. It is.
Yeah.
When you're in the moment, right?
When you're in the moment, yeah.
You're always you're always the prisoner of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
So it's like, if you can just understand that it's not always gonna be this way, and you need to kind of go through this suffering. There's a purpose to this shit.
Right. Yeah, it is. You have to have that long-term mentality of not only that the job gets easier, but also the opportunity that comes with being in the military.
Right.
And then do you want to sort of seize those things? And then you have to have other goals other than, oh, I just want to be in the military, right? Like you said, someone like that is going to get caught in the moment and go, yeah, fuck that. But if you have sort of this long-term aspiration of, no, I want to get a chance to travel the world, whatever your
Whatever it
motivation
is,
is,
right.
right? Travel the world, or I want to be a general one day, or I want to do this, or I want to do my 20 years and retire, or whatever it is. It's like, if you don't have that sort of North Star or whatever it is that you're
Right.
aiming for, it is hard to get caught up in that short term and go, fuck that, I can go sling hot dogs.
Yeah, how we doing on
Man.
time, bro?
Dude, we're at hour 5 in
Fuck.
for a week where we thought, maybe we don't have as much. We always think that though. Oh
I don't
man.
know, man.
What do you got? You got anything you want to absolutely touch?
I
I gotta talk about these gang members if you got time.
all right, go.
There's these gang members in Chicago, and I know we keep preaching inclusivity and preaching sort of acceptance, but yo, this gang in Chicago, and I'm not gonna say their names, but they are a mainstream gang. I'll leave it at that. They're
it's gotta be
they're one
like-
of the big four.
I think I only know 2, and only because I knew in high school I knew a kid that was from Chicago. And we
Okay.
talk about the Chicago gangs, but go ahead.
Dude. Listen. This gang in Chicago is leading the cause of progressiveness and inclusiveness because there is a gang member in their gang who has been recently charged with murder. He's murdered 2 people in some pretty ballsy, not drive-bys, but shootings going up and things and all that. But dude has Down syndrome, and he is in a gang. A guy's name is Nicholas Smush Samudio, which I thought calling him Smush is wild for a guy with Down syndrome.
Oh, sorry. The Smush has quotes around
Smush
it.
has quotes around it. It's fucking hilarious. So
Of course it does.
Smush does, bro.
Yo, how do you? That's that shit we talked about a couple weeks ago, where you was like, if you're Hispanic,
Yeah.
like there's no, the name, like you're either like Gordo or Flaco
Yep.
or whatever.
And they're like Smush
This
face.
is Smush.
Bro, Latinos are fucking wild, bro. Fucking wild. Like, bro,
Does this gang happen to have Latin in their name?
May. And maybe a form of royalty.
Allegedly.
But allegedly. But shout out to them for being progressive and inclusive. Fuck you, Bud Light. These guys are, yo, he's
I can't get over the
He
Smush.
is- bro, you call him Smush. You know that shit was like a mom, and dad, and uncle. You know it. It said literally Nicholas, and then it has Smush in quotation. Samudio. I'm like, bro, that is absolutely one of your family members. Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, he did not get that name from the gang.
Nope, they did not. He already came in with that shit like I'm Smush.
They're like, yeah.
And they're like,
Well,
okay.
we know. What's your
We
role?
know.
What's your name?
It's fucking crazy, bro. He killed somebody on the road rage incident, and then he killed somebody again later on. They think he might have done a 3rd murder, but they can't tie him to it.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. But yeah, man, homie got Down syndrome. He out here committing murders and gangbanging. I'm like, bro, that is fucking crazy, bro. Chicago not for everybody.
Now it's that.
You gotta worry about these guys now too. No one's safe.
Actually, Chicago is for everybody.
Chicago. You right. I fucked up. Shout out to them for the inclusivity too, bro. Damn, yo. I was like, yo, that is crazy as fuck. I was like, yo, what a time, man. Where you could be, listen, you could be handy capable. There's no disorder that will keep you from accomplishing or achieving whatever it is that you want to do, including
and
gangbanging.
so I have, there's at least one person in my family, in my extended family, that has Down syndrome, and she is a trip.
Yeah, they're funny, bro.
Yeah, she is a trip, and she's very like, it's almost like that old person that doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah,
she's been like that forever.
Yeah, dude, I've had like experiences with people with Down syndrome throughout my life, and they're always just fucking hilarious. And they're just fun to be around. Like you're like, because they're just happy about life. And then just the shit that they say or come on, like you said, it's like that old person who's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna say whatever comes to mind first. I love it, man. It's always been a trip, man. I've never had like a bad experience.
That's fucking
but
funny,
I saw
dude.
this story, man, and I was fucking crying. I'm like, yo, these guys are really about that inclusivity.
Shout out to them,
yo. But like, take notes, bro. That's how you do it.
Dude, let me hit you with one more before we go, man.
Mm-hmm.
And because only because I want you to guess where this woman is from.
All right, go ahead. Ooh,
So,
I'm ready.
Woman arrested for having sex with dogs, and then she posted it on Snapchat
Okay, we're in the United States.
in the U.S. So let me just give you some more details,
Go
and I'll
ahead.
have you guess. All right. So when she was arrested, she said that she was forced. Her name is Denise Frazier. Her bail is set at $25K. The dog that she fornicated with was a German Shepherd, and according to the news clip,
What a beast.
the dog is safe and getting medical attention.
What does a dog need medical attention for?
She's charged.
Check on her.
It's a big ass dog.
German Shepherd, big as fuck, bro. they police dogs, bro. They out here. They brutalize
They
it.
fucking they taking down 300-pound men. Goddamn it.
Murdering pussy week to week. You see that? This is crazy. What are you talking?
So she's charged with unnatural intercourse, which I thought was like, isn't that bestiality?
Yeah,
But
yeah, it is.
I guess maybe it's not that. Maybe bestiality is not another charge, and aggravated cruelty to animals.
That's
And-
because there's no bestiality in Alabama. Did I get it right?
nope, but you close.
It's Mississippi.
Yes!
Son of a bitch. That was my second thing. Damn it. So close. Geographically, I knew it was around there, bro.
And what's great about that is that Juan and I both know a guy who is from Mississippi and has literally told us, I don't know any reason to ever stay in Mississippi.
Yeah. Hey, he's from there.
Hey, he's from
He
there.
lo- He's like, nah, you see how we got the fuck out? You know what's interesting, bro, is you don't... Yeah, I've never met anyone from there who was like, yeah, I'm dying to get back.
I think I only know him.
You might be right. The rest of them can't figure out how to get out. We keep running into this line. We turn back.
It says leaving Mississippi.
So we turn
We
around.
turn around.
Just stuck in that bitch.
Yo, on that, tell them where they can find us.
Not in Alabama anytime soon or Mississippi because we gonna get murdered. Yo, we're on IG at the Carbon Footprint Podcast. On Twitter at Carbon FP Pod. We have a Facebook page, the Carbon Footprint Podcast, YouTube page, the Carbon Footprint Podcast, and all your favorite streaming platforms. We are on Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, which I think you can leave a review on Spotify now. So if you guys can go on there. I don't know if it's Apple or Android or both, but you can. So go in there, leave a review. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Audible, Geo7, Ghana, Podchaser, Pocket Cast, all of it, man. Also, YouTube recently made some changes where you can mark your podcast as a quote-unquote podcast. So I think that allows you to listen through YouTube Music or watch the video on regular YouTube. So make sure you hit that up there. And yeah, man, I think we got to figure out a way to get videos on Spotify too. I don't know if that's possible for us, but we'll try to figure it out.
Oh, that's
soon.
right,
But
because Joe Rogan got it.
yeah, Joe Rogan got it.
Why,
Damn it,
why can't we get it?
we should get it. Joe Rogan ain't got a table with his name on it, do we?
He has way more cameras.
Our production budget is a little lower than Joe.
We need donations.
Yeah.
Send bottles.
Yeah, do so. And ginger beer companies, holla at your boys.
That's right. 'Cause we hooking y'all up. We got all kind of recipes.
Yeah, man. And thank y'all for the support, man.
Absolutely. And on that, we will see you next week.
See you next week.
Peace.
Peace.